Well, we can always expect drama and intrigue at the Dapperbet Masters, and it certainly has been that so far. We've had all sorts. I'm joined by Ivan Hershevitz, who's the Chief Press Officer for World Snooker, and Hector Nuns, snooker correspondent for The Times and a multitude of other papers. Ivan, let's start with you first of all. The very first match, Mark Selby and Mark Davis, looked as though Selby had it all wrapped up, 4-0 and cruising, and all of a sudden we've got yet another 6-5 thriller at the Masters.
Yeah, I think Mark kind of started off quite well, but then for some reason he just maybe got a bit twitchy as he got towards the winning line. Mark Davis started playing better, but as soon as it went 5-all, you just fancied Selby because he's so good in deciders, especially at this tournament. And the frame kind of went scrappy, and when frames go like that, Mark is just very, very strong in those situations. He's probably the best safety player in the world, and he's just such a force at the moment. He's very difficult to beat.
Well, he's got himself through to the quarterfinals, Hector, as has John Higgins, and we know that there's huge interest in Scotland for their key players, and Higgins has been such a great ambassador for Scottish snooker over the years. Is he about to get on a little roll? I mean, he was quite buoyant in the post-match press conference after beating Stuart Bingham.
Well, that's right, Rob. It was a very, very big win for John Higgins against Stuart Bingham. I think for the very first time, probably in years, Bingham was actually favourite to win that match with a few bookmakers. And I think maybe John actually alluded to it in his press conference afterwards. Perhaps the pressure shifted a little bit. Stuart certainly didn't play very well in that game. John, with I think a third cue of the season, which is almost unheard of in this sport, finally began to look at ease and look very, very comfortable. He looked a lot happier than he was at the UK, and if he's back in form, if he's actually coming back to some kind of form, then clearly he's a factor in this tournament. And a month ago, you would have given him absolutely no chance against Mark Selby in that quarter-final, but maybe it's going to be a bit more of an even game this time.
Now, let's talk about Judd Trump, because you and I were out in Chengdu when he won the inaugural International Championship, what seems like quite a long time ago now, where he temporarily went to world number one. He lost to Marco Fu. When Marco's on, he's fantastic. Are there alarm bells ringing in the Judd Trump camp, or is he playing well and things are just not quite clicking?
Well, it's a very good question, Rob. I mean, I've written a couple of pieces about that in the last sort of 24, 36 hours, and I'm very much in the camp that says Judd Trump, his game is coming back. He played quite well at the UK against Mark Allen. I thought he was a better player in that game, was unlucky to lose. I thought he was a better player against Marco Fu here. Made 2 centuries in an 87, lost the game. Really should have won the match, I think. I don't think it's any big career crisis for Judd Trump, although the results have been very bad in the last 6 months. He would be the first person to say that. I think he's close to coming back. He's qualified for the German Masters and the World Open, so he's got the tournaments coming up to put things right, and I expect him to challenge again quite big pretty soon, actually.
Well, that'll be good news for all the Judd Trump fans. Obviously, Fu won that match, and he'll now face Shaun Murphy. And if we're talking about renaissance, Murphy's been saying for a while that practice has been going well and things haven't quite clicked. But we saw him here, the walk-on music of Superman. He shed 3 stone. He had a 147 earlier this month. Has he turned a significant corner, do you think, with that victory over Ding?
I think Shaun really feels at the moment like this is the start of something new. As he said, he's done amazingly to lose over 3 stone. And he was. I heard him on TalkSport last night, and he was saying that's to some extent helped him at the table because he doesn't sweat as much under the lights, and it's very hot out here. He finds he can reach shots more easily at the table. So that's obviously made a difference. It's a new year as well. He's got this new Superman walk-on music. So I think Shaun, he hasn't won a title since the Brazil Masters in September 2011, which is an awful long time for a player who plays in nearly every tournament. But I think Shaun really feels now that this could be a new beginning for him, and I think he would have taken a lot of confidence from beating Ding last night, bearing in mind how well Ding's been playing in recent months. So Shaun's another tough match for him against Marco Fu, but if he can win that, he's in the semi-finals, and then he's got a great chance.
Okay, we can't talk about every single match, but Hector, it would be remiss of us to be having a Masters discussion if we didn't mention the Rocket Ronnie O'Sullivan. They lifted the roof off the place for him yesterday against Rob Milkins. Unfortunate draw for Milkins. I guess he had memories of the 68-minute whitewash he endured at the hands of the Rocket at the UK Championship. What did you make of what Ronnie produced last night?
Well, I'd agree with the way you've sort of teed that up, and I don't think you can read too much into how Ronnie's going to do in this tournament from that match, because, you know, to be fair to Rob Milkins, I think the occasion got to him a bit, and, you know, he was missing 2-3 chances a frame and didn't do himself justice. So it's quite difficult to get a form line on Ronnie from that match. That said, Ronnie has done exactly the same for this tournament as what he did for the World Championship last May. He went away to Sheffield on sort of boot camp to the academy there for sort of 4 days, locked himself away. He's been practicing very hard with a variety of the players who are based there and have gone there to practice. It's exactly the same routine that he followed. I remember talking to Peter Ebdon last April when we were all desperately trying to find out what shape he was going to be in after a year off, and Peter said after 4 or 5 days in Sheffield, you should lump on at the 9-2 you could get at that time. And he's followed exactly that same regime for this tournament, which I think is a little bit ominous for everyone, because at the UK last month, I think Ronnie was a little bit overplayed. He plays best fresh these days. He'd played really a lot of snooker for 6 weeks, a lot more than he usually plays at the moment.
With the Champion of Champions victory just before the UK.
A couple of the PTCs in Europe he'd played in. I think by the time he lost to Stuart Bingham in the UK, he felt a bit all played out, and he actually said that in his press conference. But he's had a good break this time, so, you know, he's on schedule to play Neil Robertson in the semi-finals, which is a match we'd all like to see, but obviously there's players who would like to stop that from happening.
Well, there's plenty more drama to come. Thanks for your company, guys. I know we'll be catching up with you as we get towards the nitty-gritty end of this championship. An invitational, but this is a tournament with huge history and prestige, and it's going to be won by a very, very special player.